know if this is in focus, but good evening. It's also 1:34 in the afternoon, so hello. Hello. I am in the midst of a very, I'm in the midst of a very spontaneous art project. Throughout quarantine, I have kind of exploring a little bit more of my painting feature in my artistry, if you will. So I've done quite a few pieces, and with Black Swan coming out, there was just, back in last year, it emerged something from me just as, I mean with the Orchestral version that came out as well, specifically, just the orchestral pieces and layers, even in the studio version versus the orchestral version, there's just something that I felt I needed to express artistically, and I wasn't sure what medium or what element I needed to put myself in to really get it all out there, aside from poetry, which I have done, but it's just like, there's still that itch. So, and I think it kind of resonates with so many other artist army out there, or just artists in general, who have listened to the song and kind of read through the lyrics and things like that. So just work with me here. This is very spontaneous because I was listening to Black Swan and kind of just like revisiting the lyrics again, really immersing myself with the song and the concept, and finally kind of had an inkling of what it is that I really wanted to do in order to fully embody and fully like embrace Black Swan more than just as a musical element. So I've decided on painting, and this is a new style for me, because typically what I've been doing in my pieces that I've created throughout quarantine is sketches from something that I like see very clearly in my mind, and then tracing it with pencil, and then painting over it with layers and layers of paint. So this is very different in that I am not going to be tracing. I'm just going to be going off of very raw, very initial feeling. Unfortunately, I've figured this out, you know, a year later, so I really wish this was like my first impression of the song, but considering just how fresh Black Swan is each and every time that I listen to it, I think it'll be very authentic. So here I am setting up my floor with trash bags with holes in them, and then fresh trash bags, I suppose, if plastic were to be fresh. I just lift them up, because as you can see, my room is very like white walled and light colors, so we cannot risk this, because again, I'm kind of going off of the colors that that are inspired from Black Swan, which is very much black and white, just because it embodies orchestra for me, and as a string player, classically trained musician or whatever, very briefly, by the way, just like 13 years or something like that, and I'm not good even though it's been that long, just please don't. So black and white, I'm just going to kind of explain as I'm like doing this, so you can just take a look at me. So black and white is kind of the main theme here, because classical sheet music contains black and white notes on the page, and then there's also black and white uniform dress when we perform, and I feel like, you know, Black Swan kind of embodies this death of an artist, and it's almost like it takes the color away from the world, you know, through that artist death. So black and white is going to be very much a theme here. Now, as I grab my gigantic canvas, it's nearly as tall as I am. I don't know if you can see this, but pretty much waist high. I did want a huge canvas, but I didn't want it to be this big. But again, we're working out of my element. This is very spontaneous, so I think it's great. Just because this was literally the only thing that was at the art store. But it's great because it's, you know, it's going to get me out of my element. Because again, very spontaneous, very much like haven't done this before because again, I'm not tracing, I'm not prepared, I'm just going off of what I am feeling. So, I've got my brushes here, but what I really, really want to do is like finger painting and just kind of get really messy. So that's what these trash bags are for, kind of preparing for that. So that's what's going to be happening. So a lot of the dark blue and black is going to happen first. So here's the thing. I'm going to be listening to Black Swan through 3 different versions. So the first one is going to be the orchestral version with the vocals. Second time around is going to be orchestral version, no vocals. And then the third time around is going to be a Black Swan studio version. And because I think each and every one of those versions depicts a slightly different approach, and I want all of those approaches to be on this canvas. So beginning is going to be the orchestra one with vocals to capture the black color, which is black on white, black and white. Second time around, I think I might go in with like a dark blue. I'll give you all close-ups. But I just got like a huge bottle of dark blue, and then I have a bunch of black as well. So I think the second time around I'm just going to go in with like a navy blue kind of thing. So I'm going to mix it up and whatever. So it's not just going to be like this bright thing. And also I can kind of take inspiration from, in terms of color scheme, just from the album itself, or even the version that has like the, please don't kill me. Like I've been in ARMY since 2016, since the Fire era, okay? But I just don't pay attention to like the versions of the albums or anything like what they're named or whatever, just because this is the only album that I own thus far. So I don't know what version it is. It says version 3, okay. There's one where it's like even darker than this, and I call it the Black Swan themed Map of Soul. So that's kind of what I'm going off of, not this one. There's one that's darker. So if y'all know, you know what I'm talking about. So that's the color scheme that I'm kind of going off of, as well as just, again, what I'm feeling. So that will be with, without the vocals, is going to be the blue. And then when I listen to the studio version, I feel like I want to go in with white again. Hopefully through the finger painting process, which is going to be for the first 2 songs. Hopefully I'm able to really fill in the space. I think one primary rule when it comes to like drawing or painting, you really have to utilize all of the space. Be very smart about all of the space. And again, this is challenging because I've never used something so big, so it's kind of scary. I will admit, it is quite daunting having a canvas this big. So I'm going to kind of give you a reference what I've used before. Again, I've explored my artistic elements, but it's not like super serious like this one is. I feel like it's super, it's elaborate even though I hadn't planned any of it. This one I did, but it's very comedic obviously, but like, you know, I really love the orange and the nice color scheme I was going with here, so it didn't require a lot of detail, obviously because it's here. But I mean, the original doesn't include the clarinet, so I kind of added a little bit of my own touch here, so to make of that what you will. But I mean, you can see in comparison, there's a lot of space, and even with this one, it's quite difficult. So following the application of paint, I also have, I'll do close up here in a minute. I also have just some faux flowers here. They have unblossomed buds here, which I think is perfect just because artistry kind of died and it's regrowing in this way because I'm doing it in an artistic manner, talking about so yes, I am mixing tempera paint with acrylic, with glitter glue. It's a lot of texture going on. I feel like it's gonna add a nice effect, and also there was no other there weren't a lot of options, so this is kind of what I'm going for and what I'm working with. So work with me, people. Please don't yell at me in the comments. This is all, again, very spontaneous. I've also included some, what is this, like Elmer's glue? Glitter glue? There you go. So I'm also going to try and incorporate this as well. And then I also have this nice green mermaid looking one. So it's not really super centered around the album colors, like I said, but there's just a little bit of a theme here, like really dark colors. So again, with the blossoming kind of concept, I do want to add something more like kind of the light at the end of the tunnel kind of deal. So also to do with death and kind of regaining hope and motivation to continue artistry. So yeah, okay. I'm going to do a couple close-ups, and of course my camera is dying just as I'm about to venture into this. So, alright, we're going to get into it. Stay tuned, I guess. I totally forgot to mention this, but I am going to be blindfolded. I think for all of them. I mainly imagine this with the orchestral version with the vocals. Again, going with the whole out of my element theme, I am very structured. I like planning a lot of my pieces because again, you know, tracing it and then going ahead and doing outlines and then painting things in. So I think just going with that kind of theme and really allowing myself to fully immerse and fully go into just complete go with the flow. I'm going to need to not be so structured for a second. So I am going to be blindfolded and just kind of go through with that. I don't know how I'm going to transition the colors doing this or get this off, but this is just like a sleeping mask, that's all I've got. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing, and I'm just going to pour the paint and we're going to get into it. Also, just a little disclaimer that I'm going to add at the beginning of the video. I will be speeding up the music just so I don't get copyrighted. I might have to make 2 different videos entirely, like one with the sped up Black Swan audio and then one probably with different music entirely, just in case of copyright issues. So just so y'all know that, I don't want it to get blocked or anything. Alright, I don't know how I'm going to do this with pressing play. Okay. Maybe a headband wasn't the best idea here. Hello. Okay.
Looking like breeze. Here, that one. Here, what? Here, that one. Here, that one. Here, what? Here, that one. Looking like breeze. Here, that one. Here, what? Here, that one. Like,
I think I'm going to go in with a brush this time just to be a little bit more precise. I think I had overestimated the amount of space that I have here. So let's get back into it. I'm just going to go in with the blue now.
Look it like breeze. Here, get one. Here, what? Here, get one. Here, get one. Here, what? Here, get one. Look it like breeze. Here, get one. Here, what? Here, get one. Look it like breeze. So I think what I want to do is actually get a blow dryer and kind of dry this up before I get into the white paint. Just because there are tiny bits of blue in here for right now. There are really great interesting shapes that are going on and lines. I don't think you can really see, there's like a little S here and then wings coming out. Or kind of what I was envisioning was happening with the blindfold on. But I really want to go back in over these lines with white. So, and I think I might just go in with my hands again with a different color perhaps. But that is what I'm at right now. So I'm just gonna like let this dry a little bit. I know tempera paint kind of dries fairly quickly, so I'm just gonna go in with blow dryer. So we'll see. So what I'm gonna do, I'm really liking the color that's going on here, so I'm just gonna give this a mix. And I might add a little bit more blue. And as you can see, the blow dryer definitely did a good amount of drying. It's dry. There's not even any char or anything, it's dry. So just the blue parts are quite thick, so I'm just going to leave them alone. And this next portion of the painting is going to not include the blindfold, just because I really want to make sure that I'm not touching those thicker blue paint areas. So I'm just going to use a little bit more blue. And then I'm also going to go in with white as well. So the white is going to come in with a fan brush. I want to be very delicate with the white and add more like a droplet kind of feel, and maybe even splatter. I really like this. It kind of looks black, but it's more of like a really dark blue situation, and it's purple. So I'm really liking that. Okay. That is to my liking. So I'm just going to go with want to go with a bigger square brush. Like this. So this one we're going to use, you can see it's a little more wider. So, wash that later. Wet this. It's so hard. Whatever, I think that's going to be good. I kind of want it a little bit dry. So, okay, and then I'm going to add my, not me wiping the trash bag that's supposed to capture all the paint. Anyway, so I'm just going to open up one of these white acrylic paints.
Look it like breeze. Here, get one. Here, what? Here, get one. Here, get one. Here, what? Here, get one. Look it like breeze. Here, get one. Here, what? Here, get one. Look it like breeze.
Okay, it doesn't feel complete, so I'm gonna go one more time with the studio version.
Look it like breeze. Look it like, look it like. Look it like breeze. Look it like breeze. Here, get one. Here, what? Here, get one. Here, get one. Here, what? Here, get one. Look it like breeze. Here, get one. Here, what? Here, get one. Look it like breeze. Look it like
So it's been 2 days of it drying. It does have a weird smell, and I think it might be the combination of acrylic and tempera paint. And also it's been next to the heater as well, which I should turn off. So it's kind of got like a weird smell. I'm probably gonna like spray it with something. But yeah. Anyway, I was saying, I feel like now that it's dried down, I really don't want to add any buds or glitter. I'm really satisfied with the way it's turned out just with the acrylic and tempera mixture. I think it's got a great texture. There's kind of like a little bit of very thick white splatters, thin swipes here and there. Can kind of get into the texture. But yeah, it's kind of like a fun little pattern here. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm really satisfied with the way it's turned out, and I don't want to add anything from what I initially planned. Somebody's knocking on the door. Anyway, I was interrupted. This is the final product, is basically what I was going to say. So just disregard all the ideas that I was saying before. I really enjoy this product. I really enjoy what I have created here. I feel like I got everything kind of out of my system. And I was gonna say something else. Why am I old? I'm trying to think.